Disney was knocking out billion-dollar movies right and left in 2017, 18, and 19. They haven't gotten one there yet since COVID, right? Have they? Doctor Strange, 950. I think Moana hit the billion, right? And Inside Out 2 hit the billion, the Pixar stuff. But as far as Marvel, which was the bread and butter of striking $1 billion in those years leading up to COVID, not one. Spider-Man was Sony. Deadpool and Wolverine disconnected from Marvel. The Fox property did it, and the Sony property did it. That's it. Renegade Online. Disney has long been the dominant studio at the box office. However, it has failed in recent years to match its own stratospheric standards, at least commercially. Bob Iger believes the company's next 18 months will resemble 2019. Does anybody else here believe that? Seriously, let me stop right here. I'm going to read that again. Bob Iger believes, and he did talk about this on the earnings call today. Bob Iger believes that the company's next 18 months will resemble 2019 with $11 billion globally. Again, that was at retail Blockbuster. You really go back and look at 2019 and you carve out what theaters kept here in the U.S., what theaters kept around the planet, what theaters kept in China especially, and you match that against the production costs and the marketing costs of the films that generated that $11 billion. And guess what? Disney didn't make near the money you think they did, because we've looked at the earnings reports. They're not there. I don't even remember if they profited about $1 billion, maybe a little over $1 billion that year. You see how much volume they have to do in these things just to really make a nut. It's a high watermark when you spend as much money as you do on every film you make. And in 2019, Disney made a ton of them. You had The Lion King, you had Endgame, you had The Rise of Palpatine at the end of the year, which didn't even break even. There was quite a few of them. I think there were 7 major Disney properties, maybe 8 that year. Huge movies. Captain Marvel was that year. You had the Ant-Man movie, right? Or no, it was a Spider-Man movie that was Sony, so we don't count that one. There was quite a few that year for Disney. But let's look at that real quick. Does anybody out there, Bob Iger believes the company's next 18 months will resemble 2019. The next 18 months will resemble a 12-month period 6 years ago. What on the slate is going to do this? Oh, Valiant, they got Avatar. Technically speaking, yes, that would count in the Disney box because it's distributed by Disney. It's not made by Disney. It's not owned by Disney. And Disney does not get to keep the bulk of the money from it. James Cameron does. Lightstorm Entertainment does. Take Avatar out. There was no Avatar movie in 2019, right? We didn't have an Avatar movie that year. We didn't get the second Avatar movie until after COVID. So throw Avatar out. Everything in 2019 was an actual Disney studio-based production, not a James Cameron production, not something they got over from Fox. Where is that coming from? Do they think that Avengers Doomsday is going to turn in a $2 billion box office? It could, to be fair, right? It could if they have a huge, healthy dose of Robert Downey Jr. and Spider-Man in it. Maybe. But it's got to be good. The problem is that nobody knows any of the characters in this movie, including Robert Downey Jr.'s Doom. The normies aren't there because the normies haven't been following. When you pump out a $400 million movie, a $400 million movie, a $400 million movie, a $200 million movie, and I'm talking box office, like the Marvels and all this kind of stuff, or the Marvels and the Eternals and Shang-Chi. Does anybody even remember who Shang-Chi was 4 years ago, 3.5 years ago now, almost 4 years ago? No. Does anybody care? No. But he'll be in it. Who cares? Did anybody know who the Thunderbolts were when this movie came out? No. For the few people who actually went to go watch Black Widow, that was 4 years ago. That's where a lot of these people came from. For the few couple of million people that watched Falcon and the Winter Soldier, 4 years ago on Disney Plus, or 5 years ago now almost. I think that came out in 2020, didn't it? Yeah, early 2020. Who cares? Nobody remembers it. This is the problem. So does anybody out there in chat think that they're going to be able to do this? I'm highly skeptical, and I'll be happy to stand on that. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't care. Being wrong doesn't bother me. But, I mean, realistically, what are we talking about here? Where is $11 billion in global box office going to come from? Even for big hit Disney movies or any big hit movies out there, China is basically off the table. China is off the table. They have basically shut down and shut off every American studio out there. And even when one does get to release there, the numbers for it are absolutely paltry. How long has it been since we had a real big hit in China?
It's been 84 years.
It's not been that long, but it's close. It's close. Iger said he had a lot of confidence in the upcoming slate. So these are the ones he was referring to over the next 12 to 18 months. Lilo and Stitch, we agree. And I've said this since we saw the very first trailer for Lilo and Stitch. That should be $1 billion movie. That'd easily be $1 billion movie in today's ticket prices for Disney. It is now almost $18. $18 for one effing ticket to go to my local theater that has a PLF, a premium large format screen in the evening. Not an IMAX branded screen, because those would be over $20. That would be $22 for a ticket or something like that, the IMAX. A PLF screen. It's almost $18 a ticket where I am around New Orleans, which is nuts. A non-PLF screening is still $14.50, I think it was last time I saw it, because I went to go do that for Revenge of the Sith. It was at least $14 a ticket for a regular screen. Now, if I went before 4 in the afternoon or whatever, saw a matinee, okay, it would have been 12. Still up there. Okay? This is 2025. Movies reaching $1 billion at this scale, the Disney scale, should be a foregone conclusion compared to what they did 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago. Disney was knocking out billion-dollar movies right and left in 2017, 18, and 19. They haven't gotten one there yet since COVID, right? Have they? Doctor Strange, $950. What else was a Disney-made, Disney-distributed film since then that hit the billion? Did Moana hit it? I think Moana hit the billion, right? And Inside Out 2 hit the billion, the Pixar stuff. That's it. But as far as Marvel, which was the bread and butter of striking $1 billion in those years leading up to COVID, not one. Spider-Man was Sony. Deadpool and Wolverine, disconnected from Marvel. But none of the other disconnected pieces. And you really think about that, it's truly amazing. The Fox property did it, and the Sony property did it. That's it. Core Marvel has still been lingering and averaging around, I guess, $400-500 million, it seems like, which is terrible. Fantastic Four First Steps. Don't hold your breath. Avatar Fire and Ash. Again, Disney doesn't own it. Disney didn't make it. Disney didn't pay for it. Disney's not going to reap the profits from it. Not like James Cameron will. And then in 2026, you got Mandalorian and Grogu. Again, I got news for you. That movie is not going to do what they think. Because, again, the audience has already left the building. The audience left the building. The audience was there at the end of Mando Season 2. That was 5 years ago. And since then, Disney has fed us nothing but slop in the Mandoverse. Absolute dog water slop. You don't even get the conclusion of the Thrawn trilogy in the movie, because they're going to do that on Ahsoka Season 2. That's what they said. It's going to be a $250 million fetch quest. Another Mandalorian side quest on the big screen. Good luck. Doomsday and Toy Story 5. Again, Toy Story 5 coming off of Toy Story 4, and Toy Story 4 wasn't very good. It just wasn't. It was not. They should have ended it. They should have ended it when John Lasseter left, because the rest of Pixar ended when John Lasseter left too.
Make sure you're subscribed to Valiant Renegade and join us every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern for the live show.